Hey everybody, welcome back to another review. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late, and I just decided to go check out another mystery movie. This one I knew what it was going to be, it was pretty obvious. And I figured just, hey, what the hell, $5. I probably won't even check it out for more than that, so why not? That film being The Boys in the Boat, which was directed by George Clooney, distributed by Amazon Studios, and tells a story of I'm not sure what you would call it, like the competition per se. I guess a boat rowing competition, I guess, set in the early 30s. And Joel Egerton puts a team together, and they all learn to bond and to get along with each other, and they try to get to the big competition where they have to face Germany, which they are known to be, like incredibly fast in speed. So they go through the process of bonding and through extensive training in hopes to reach the finals and to win and to come out victorious and all that sort of stuff. Um, so um, with George Clooney as a filmmaker, I'm not entirely familiar with his background. The only film of his that I have seen is The Midnight Sky, which is pretty forgettable, pretty unremarkable. I don't remember hating it. I don't remember having any passions towards it, like with hatred or stuff like that. I just forgot about it. He also did The Tender Bar most recently, which I would say is probably a better comparison than The Midnight Sky in the conversation of the boys in the boat, because The Tender Bar and this share the same thing about having no real consequence to their narratives. With The Tender Bar, it's just the boy just kind of just does whatever, and there's really no consequence to him. And then there's these daddy issues that are kind of utilized um, as a as a means to having set a fallout within its narrative, but then that just kind of goes away after a few minutes. And it's literally the same thing here with the boys in the boat. There's a guy with daddy issues, and that gets resolved fairly quickly, and then everything else is smooth sailing. Everything else just stays afloat, pun intended. Um, and what you get from it is something that is extremely familiar in narrative. You know exactly how things are going to play out. I would say the last race is probably the only thing that's like kind of left up in the air in terms of how they want to leave their messaging, either as people's champions or as champions themselves. And well, you watch the movie to find out for which ending they choose. But um, it does stretch it to where it does feel more thin than thick. But surprisingly, I must say, it does have more merit than I expected, and it might be a step up from the Tender Bar. I'm not sure. The Tender Bar was a little more cozy as a film, where this it does have tenderness, oddly enough, um, but I think a little bit of my bias comes into play here because, man, is this not one of the most pretentious sports on the planet? I mean, obviously golf being number one. This would probably be like number two. I mean, it's dudes rowing a boat. So seeing the film trying to represent this within such a cinematic sort of fashion, having the epic, having like the this like the big music, which by the way the score by Alexandre Desplat, I believe, um, really a standout element, as well as visually it's quite aesthetically pleasing. I think the performances are fine. I mean, they're not anything that noteworthy. They kind of get the job done. I think the lead is pretty vague in terms of expression, pretty absent in terms of expression, to be honest. Um, but it's the big hurdle that the film had for me was trying to make me care about one of the most pretentious sports out there, and it was able to get over it a little bit. There is some work that's needed in order to really get me over there, but ultimately I was met on the other side. Um, through a appealing like atmosphere, even if it is fairly naive, because George Clooney's directing style, it seems, specifically when it came to the Tender Bar in this, is that he likes to paint his narratives as if everybody and everyone is cool with each other. Everyone is happy, everyone gets along, there's no real conflict between. They try to establish conflict, but it just feels more like padding, like, oh, okay, we need to have drama at play, but then we'll resolve this in like 5 seconds, you know? So there's no lingering stuff that happens throughout the film. It's just, let's just move along, you know? Let's just move along with the established idea and then just keep on moving, keep on moving, keep on moving. This is the idea. We're not changing it. We're not getting deeper. Like, you know, he's very comfortable with just establishing idea and then just letting that idea just kind of roll over you, you know? And that's where things can feel a little long, I will say. I think that some trimming could have benefited the film a bit. A bit redundant, but ultimately I found myself in a place of some level of satisfactory. Nothing that's gonna be like, it's gonna be like the Tender Bar. Like, I literally was watching the movie and I was thinking to myself, what was the other film with George Clooney that I've seen? Because I remember The Midnight Sky, oddly enough, more than The Tender Bar, even though I think The Tender Bar is a better film than A Midnight Sky. But then it hit me when I was watching the movie. I was just like, oh, right, The Tender Bar. Like, it'll be that kind of film. It'll be a film that just kind of pops up when you're trying to think of something. It's like, what was that movie that I just saw of George Clooney's? And then it'll come to you like later on, not immediately. So nothing extremely memorable, but for what is highly pretentious as a sport, it was able to win me over with some charm, with some tenderness, but ultimately sitting in very shallow waters. And you know, I wasn't irritated, but I wasn't highly invested either, because as I said, it sticks to a huge degree of familiarity and a huge lack of consequence to anything. You know, it's like, if you have seen the Tender Bar, it's like pretty much the same sort of mechanics. It's like, let's just move along, let's let things just play out, and then we'll have some drama here and there, play for 5 seconds, resolve that in 5 seconds, and move on, you know? It's just little speed bumps. You know, it's not a hill to climb, it's just speed bumps, which is what George Clooney seems to be doing a lot as a filmmaker, it seems, lately. Just creating speed bumps, not necessarily hills, for its characters to conquer, so. But yeah, like I said, okay. Nothing memorable, nothing terrible. It's mediocre, and it's gonna be something that I probably will forget about. So you know, I was more surprised by my engagement. You know, I thought I would be pretty bored throughout, but I wasn't. I was just, I was like, I was what's the word? I was okay with its company, but I wasn't giving it my full attention, you know, because I knew how things were gonna play out. Which, by the way, the girlfriend, the one thing that did keep me like watching, or like brought my interest back a lot, was that this girl, the love interest with the main character, my God, does she love to gaslight the guy all the time? It's like, oh, I can't believe it. You're just so good. You're gonna win. It's all like just this bullshit. It's just like, you know, like every time she was on screen, I was just like, oh my God, like, can you guys just have sex already? Like Jesus fucking Christ, like, you know, like she was just like such a horny and such a like, you know, kiss ass sort of character, you know, like, yeah, but I'm kind of getting off track though. But yeah, it's okay. I'll probably forget about it, but nothing irritating, nothing terrible, just okay. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on The Boys in the Boat. Fine, you know, it's okay. Definitely one of the most pretentious sports though. Like, just like golf, number one. This probably number two. It's dudes rowing a boat. That's all it is. I don't want to hear people defending that, oh no, it's a legit sport. No, it's not. A sport is like baseball, basketball, football, horse racing, like cars racing, actual racing. Getting on a piece of wood, grabbing another piece of wood, and then moving your hands like this, and seeing who can move the fastest across the river. That's not a sport. That's just self-indulgence and just a game. So, yeah, not a sport. So, um, well, you're working a certain muscle. It's like whatever. So, this is the same people who will tell you that video games are a sport. It's like fuck off. So, um, but yeah, I digress. So, um, but yeah, so it's an okay movie, and I think it comes out Christmas Day. So you guys let me know your thoughts if you guys check it out then in the comment section below. Your thoughts on The Boys in the Boat, and if you guys have seen any of other George Clooney's films, as a filmmaker, of course. Let me know your thoughts about his films in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it from me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video.